What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me today. It's Tuesday, August 7th, 2023 for another metallic episode of Music of Destruction, coming to you from the MOD Crypt. My girlfriend did an awesome job on this. We're working on a concept for another set. It's going to be awesome. As always, bringing you the best in metal-related content here on YouTube. Check out Mordant Red and Ken's Death Metal Crypt and a few other guys. Steve Young, there's some other cool channels out there just doing the real shit. None of this fucking pussyfooting around worrying about whatever people think. And it doesn't matter. If you missed anything in the past week, bring it down. Everything's there to get cut up, as well as on the homepage. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. MOD, giving you only the real underground metal, raw fucking intolerance. Welcome to Album Review Tuesdays, once again here on the channel. Today we're going deep into the underground, into Germany. Yes, that's right, for a review of an amazing funeral doom metal album with the band AHAB. And the album is The Coral Tombs, released in 2023 on Napalm Records, actually just a few short months ago. And this is another member request. This one coming from my good buddy Lane Hensley. Thank you, Lane, for your continued support. You're at 9 months, brother. Let's keep it going. AHAB formed back in 2004 and literally shattered the extreme metal underground with their groundbreaking debut album, The Call of the Wretched Sea. I did review that. I will be doing a re-review of it here on the channel with the new set, which to this day is my favorite funeral doom metal album of all time. And I don't say that fucking lightly. If you have not heard The Call of the Wretched Sea, go fucking listen to it. The band have released a number of singles, a demo, a live album, a box set, and 5 full-length albums, as well as some singles. And The Coral Tombs marks the first full-length album in over 8 years, so it's very awesome to see that they're still making amazing art. So for the lineup on The Coral Tombs, we have Chris Hector, guitars, Daniel Drost, guitars, vocals, keyboards, Cornelius Althammer doing drums, and Stefan Wandernoth doing the bass. Alright, without further ado, let's just get into this fucking review. To open up this album, we have Prof Aronnax's Descent into the Vast Oceans, featuring Chris Dark of the band Ultha, which provides additional vocals, and then Greg Chandler from Esoteric is on this album as well. And this one starts off pretty fast and aggressive with a furious death metal meets doom-laden despair, and then slows right down into a crawling, clean section with some pretty interesting singing and soft melodies that really embeds the atmosphere deep into your mind. It's quite the experience for it to come to a complete halt like this from the really aggressive, heavy musical compositions just a few minutes prior. It then picks up again and explodes into a doom metal, rumbling, destructive fall into the ocean's abyss, and the chant-like singing does continue on. Drums and guitars are very crushing, so is the overall mood and emotional framework of this fucking track. Overall, this is a really good opener. Next up is Colossus of the Liquid Graves, and this one is pretty dark and sinister. We get some powerful low-end guitar work that rumbles and crashes against some incredible drumming mixed with some amazing high lead guitar work that makes the track soar high in between the growled and chanting style of vocals they've chosen to emphasize here, which really creates a dark, sinister, submerged atmosphere, which is exactly what the band has been going for on each record, obviously. And the album cover is definitely a reference to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. We know that's what this album's concept is all about, and rightfully so, because the compositions and writing, along with the emotions that have gone into this, has certainly been capturing the very essence and doing it quite well. This is a pretty killer fucking track. Next up, we have Mobilis in Mobile, and this one is actually quite intriguing, and you can begin to feel the weight of the ocean's air pressure setting in as you traverse deeper and deeper, as there's a really creepy ambience to this one, like traversing underwater. We get that underwater submarine type ambience with some xylophone thrown into this intro as the guitar creeps in and increases in pitch and volume as it progresses forth and swells and constricts, albeit alongside the plodding, slow-rolling drum work that constitutes the foundation, and definitely is a voyage. This track, long, drawn-out riffs definitely suggest amazement and wonder, but also the fear of not knowing what's lurking below. This one is a darker track that really emphasized it greatly in its note structuring and drumming. Vocals are also low-ended, doom-laden growls of despair and solitude, but there's also a sense of adventure and bewilderment as this track moves forward and it takes over in his voice. This really reminds me of the Call of the Wretched Sea in a lot of ways. Overall, this track is my favorite so far. Pretty damn killer. So let's check out some AHAB here on MOD. Enjoy. And guys, we are back. Next up is the track titled The Sea as a Desert. And this one is a really slow, clean guitar-driven journey through the bottom of the sea. The clean notes illustrate and paint visions and sounds of a desolate seafloor with no life at all. It's devoid of the organisms and the bodies of water that would inhabit it. Almost like it's a post-apocalyptic event that's taken place. Coming through the soft passages is a hypnotic state and sense of almost psychedelic trance-like despondency. Then the metal parts come in like a sudden tear into the trance of the journey, but the distorted guitars match the melancholic notes of the cleanly played notes. And this one reminds me a lot of The Hunt from the Call of the Wretched Sea, and it certainly sounds very similar to that track for sure. This is another amazing track. Next we have A Coral Tomb. This one sounds like another track that could have been lifted straight from the debut album, though a little bit less thunderous and heavy. But in fact, the band have expanded their sound quite a bit since 2006's debut, The Call of the Wretched Sea. But the devastation and funeral soundscapes and atmospheres of pure horror and dread that they achieved with The Call of the Wretched Sea are back intact on this record, though maybe a little bit less emphasized than I would like. However, this track certainly doesn't strafe too far away from these aforementioned points of reference I just made, but indeed there is a sad, desolate album here full of loneliness and wonder, but also a sense of adventure and power throughout its choice compositional frameworks on each track. This one, however, is pretty desolate and somber in its tonality and delivery. Pretty killer track here as well. Now, next up we have Somnia, and this one is another track that begins with a slower, clean guitar passage that provides a steady build-up onto the vast abyss that is the Great Sea and exploring all that lies beneath its surface, as the track continues to pull you deeper into all kinds of possibilities and emotions deep within the well of your soul, as this is an interesting choice and use of melodicism that doesn't make the music lighter itself in ways, but rather a lot more mysterious once the finality of the crashing, doom-laden metallic attacks do reveal themselves, albeit alongside the amazing vocal harmonies and growling that's shared between the two vocalists. I believe Greg Chandler's on most of the tracks here, as they pair off of one another in a fashion that's not only perfect, but one that lends itself to the guitar work and the songwriting, which makes it feel not too out of place. Brilliant soaring lead riffs make it even more enchanted and haunting as well, and they come in at just the right moments. This is a pretty killer track as well. Closing out the album is The Maelstrom, and this one does feature Greg of Esoteric. This is a pretty good closing track, and it wastes no time with some cleaner guitar intro or anything this time around. It goes straight into an epic soaring funeral doom-laden piece of some deep contemplative emotions of the mysteries of the sea, and creates some pretty sophisticated emotions and atmospheres throughout the duration of the track. Now, one thing I will note, however, is I think that the singing vocals here from Daniel Drost and probably Greg Chandler are a bit overused on the record. I don't think that they needed to be on almost every track. I mean, come on, this is kind of taking away from the album a little bit at this point, and Daniel Drost is a good vocalist, as Greg Chandler is as well. But I'm not even a fan of Esoteric to really begin with, so the fact that they chose to use him on this record is a little bit confusing to me, albeit it doesn't really add as much as I would have liked to the album overall. But anyway, I wanted more of the growling, sinister vocals that we got on albums like The Call of the Wretched Sea and The Boats of Glencarrig and things, and I know they were utilizing the chanting a lot more on that album. And then The Divinity of Oceans is a good record as well. I just feel like it kind of took away from what I felt the album really could have had in terms of impact and overall aggression. But again, that was their choice to do it this way, and I mean, it's okay. I mean, this is a good closing track as well. The final verdict for the Coral Tombs from AHAB is getting an 8 out of 10. As I said, the overuse of the chanting vocals kind of takes away from the overall heaviness the band used to possess on earlier albums, but still a great album nonetheless. Hail the fucking underground. Thank you, Lane, for the request. All right, there you have it. Another album review in the books here on the channel. Hope you enjoyed. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Janelle working on new merch right now. It's all going to be very, very cool. Thank you so much for all your help. Join the channel, support, become an MOD Elite VIP. Get great perks. Get those memberships in right now. $249 for month one, $4.99 thereafter. You get exclusive content, review requests like you just saw here tonight, collaborations if you have a metal YouTube channel. I'm going to be uploading Cadaver Right's demo either tonight or tomorrow. If you're in a band, I'm going to interview them as well. So if you're in a band, I'll promote you and all that kind of cool shit. And members only live streams, $5 a month. Have an awesome night, guys. We'll see you for Album Ranking Wednesdays, Hails.